Well, if you fell asleep in the first 6 innings of this one, I don't blame you, and two, Jo Adell woke you up, but he woke you up just so you could feel more pain. Another late inning collapse sinks our Angels. We'll discuss it on tonight's edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast.
You are Locked On Angels Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Just like the intro told you, this is the Locked On Angels Postcast coming at you live right here on the Locked On Los Angeles YouTube channel and after the fact, both on the channel and wherever you get your Locked On Angels podcast feed. The Angels fall once again. They fall 5-4 at the beginning of their road trip in Seattle, thanks to another painful late inning defeat. What's going on, everybody? If you don't know me by now, I am Gavin Carlson, the host of the Angels Postcast every single day after every single game. I believe this is Postcast number 9. The Angels fall to 2-7 in the history of the Postcast era. If you don't know who I am, 4 years of credentialed journalist in the Los Angeles area, specifically covering UCLA sports, but my main role right now is the Postcast host, and my main role tonight is to tell you about another painful Angels loss. We're going to talk about that Matt Moore home run that ended up being the decisive mistake. We'll talk about Jo Adell erasing an otherwise abysmal offensive performance with that stellar grand slam pinch hit. And we'll talk about some questionable lineup stuff with Ron Washington. Nolan Schanuel ruled out last minute in this one, and I do not like what Ron Washington did as a response. We'll talk about that as well on tonight's postcast. But before we jump into any of that, quick shout out to anybody who is here as always. Quick shout out to Anaheim Angel, who said this before we even went live. He said, hey, watch the postcast later. I appreciate that. But Pilar needs to let a hitter hit. Oh, don't worry. We'll get into that final out and what a costly out it was. If you can read on the right of the screen there, it says polarizing Pilar. We'll certainly get to that. And shout out to Daniel, who continues to be here every single night, just like I'm here every single night. Before we jump into the recap, quick shout out to today's sponsor, FanDuel. Today's episode is indeed brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. And before I get started, I want to be honest with you guys because that's my number one priority always. And if you may or may not have noticed, a few minutes late getting started in this one, and I'll be honest. If you don't know by now, I go to UCLA. I live in Westwood. I live in a college apartment town, and it's a Friday night. It's 10 p.m., and I'll be honest, there's parties all around me. There's music blaring right next door. I tried to seal my windows as shut as possible to make sure the sound wasn't bleeding into this one. So it took a little bit longer. I want to bring you guys the best show possible every single night. And so a little extra work to make this one work for you guys. But we are here, and we are going to talk about this game because there were 6 innings of just straight horrific baseball from the Halos. The offense couldn't do anything. Surprise, surprise. It felt a lot like the beginning of yesterday's game because against Luis Gil and the Yankees, the Angels had one hit through, I can't remember, I think 6 or 7 innings. He had one hit through the first 6, I believe, and it happened to be a home run from Logan O'Hoppe. Thank you for that. But other than that, they were shut down by Luis Gil, and the same thing happened tonight because Brian Wu, the pitcher for the Mariners, and he has been great. Let's not get it mistaken. He has been great. The ERA was under 2 coming into this one. Mind you, not as many starts. And he has a great history against the Angels. Coming into this one, opponents on the Angels were hitting just 154 in 27 plate appearances against him. So, once again, was not expecting much from the Angels lineup. And a big reason why was Ron Washington made some changes. Last minute, Nolan Schanuel ruled out due to thumb soreness. And the lineup before that news was leading off, it was kind of the standard lineup we've seen for the most part. Shanuel, Renhefo, Ward, and Willie Calhoun. That's what you expect against righties. Now, the one change he made initially that I loved, Pilar batting fifth. I've ranted about it in the last 2 or 3 shows. I don't care if he's only been raking against lefties for the most part. This guy is hitting .345 coming into this one tonight. Get him in the lineup, even if it's against a righty. And Wash does that. Credit to him. He puts him at fifth. Ohapi 6th, Neto 7th. Moniak in that 175 average, 8th. And then Guilherme 9th. That was the lineup coming in, and I really would have liked to see that. But, of course, Shanuel gets ruled out last minute. And then this is what Wash responds with. No, obviously you have to take Shanuel out. He replaces him with Matt Thaiss at DH. That's fine. We know this lineup, or we know this roster does not have many great hitters to replace one of your everyday hitters and your leadoff hitter. But Wash decides to move Mickey Moniak from 8th to 2nd. This guy's hitting 175. We have ranted in the past 2 or 3 postcasts that this guy is an automatic out, and you move him to 2nd. I don't care if he robbed a home run tonight. He could have robbed that home run while hitting in the 9 spot. But Wash decides to move him to 2nd instead of just maybe shifting everybody up one. I get it. You want Ward hitting 3rd and Calhoun in your cleanup spot. Fine. Then put Pilar 2nd and move Renhefo to lead off. Because there's no way that you want to see more at-bats from Mickey Moniak than Kevin Pilar. There's no way. But Wash elects to go with that, and surprise, surprise, the Angels offense does nothing for the first 6 innings. At one point, Wu had like 60 pitches through the first 6 innings, just absolutely running through the Angels lineup. They were a no-show. And we'll get to the first inning from Soriano later in this show, because a rough first inning, partially because of an error, maybe that's a little aggressive, a mistake, certainly, from Kevin Pilar in right field. Not a mistake, but a catch that could have been made. And the Angels fall behind 3-0 with that 3-run first inning. I thought Soriano was actually not awful, despite the 3 runs in the first. Bases loaded with nobody out. We know the plan for this guy. Throw strikes, throw strikes, throw strikes. Have electric stuff and see what happens. He was kind of all over the place in this one. He gives up 3 in the first. He gives up 1 in the 5th. Angels down 4-0. But once again, how hard is it to be a starting pitcher for this team? Because it doesn't matter if you give up 1 run or 4 or 12. You know you're probably losing when you come out of this game. And surely enough, the Angels had 3 hits. They just were non-existent. We'll go through the box score, and this is after a big 7th inning. This is still the box score. Renhefo 0 for 4. First 0 for in a while for him. Mickey Moniak 0 for 4. Pencil it in, folks. Pencil it in. Just like Cole Tucker, just like Kyron Paris, Mickey Moniak, pencil in the 0 for 4. The only question is whether or not he's going to get taken out, and it'll be an 0 for 3, not an 0 for 4. But it was an 0 for 4 tonight with 2 strikeouts. He's hitting 169. Come on. Miguel Sano, please come up soon. Please. Brandon Drury, please come back soon. Because I can't look at Mickey Moniak hit much longer. And once again, why the heck is he hitting 2nd? Taylor Ward, 0 for 3 with a walk. Calhoun goes 1 for 4. Pilar 1 for 4. Ohapi 0 for 3. Matt Thaiss with 2 hits. And Zach Neto with 2 hits. The only guys that really showed up, other than Jo Adell, which we'll get to. But the lineup does nothing through 6 innings. And you're down 4-0, and this game was a snooze fest, despite it going so fast. I'll be honest. This was the fastest first 6 innings since the postcasts have started. Zooming by, Wu just throwing strikes, the Angels not looking like they're going to put up even remotely a fight. And this game just felt over in the 6th inning. Now, surely enough, we get to the 7th, and thank goodness for not only Jo Adell, but everyone else who helped start a rally. Because in the 7th inning, the Angels receive a gift, and it's very similar to yesterday when Luis Gil comes out, and then the Angels started doing some things. For some reason, despite Wu pitching phenomenally, they take Wu out to start the 7th inning, and immediately everything changes for the Angels. Not immediately, because first Mickey Moniak led off the inning. So no, not immediately. Shocker, she strikes out. But then Taylor Ward with a 1-out walk. Willie Calhoun doubles down the right field line, or in right field. And then Pilar reaches on foolishness. And I need to start thinking of like a fancy slogan or something for Angels foolishness. I'll be honest. In my notes, I call it a foolishness tracker. And Pilar's out, and the end of the game is certainly on there. I wouldn't put his error in right field, not error, but his inability to make the catch in right field. I wouldn't put that on there. But I certainly would put Taylor Ward on this play, because with 2 on and 1 out, Pilar grounds, and Ward gets thrown out at home by maybe 10 seconds. It wasn't even close. So a run gets taken off the board there. But then, thank goodness, with 2 outs, Logan O'Hoppe walks. We load the bases. They bring in a lefty for Matt Tice, and the Angels respond with Jo Adell, who coming into this one, 0 of 18 in his previous 5 games. We have ranted about it so much, how Adell just needed a night off. We were saying it. He needed just a single night off to slow down, preferably come back in when a lefty's up on the mound and get back to doing what he was doing before this disastrous end of May. And that was at the very least rake against lefties. And surely enough, with the bases loaded and with 2 out, Jo Adell gets a lefty as a pinch hitter, and boy, does he deliver. The pitcher was just, Saucedo, the pitcher was just throwing outside pitches on every single pitch leading up to this one. The first 4 pitches, all in the exact same spot, down and away. 2 swinging strikes and 2 balls. And then a mistake. I think the slider was meant to be on the outside corner, but instead it goes well inside, down and in, and Adell, destroying lefties at times this season, takes the down and in slider and absolutely crushes it to left. Grand slam, 106.5 exit velo. He hit it really high, so it only went 360 feet. It barely got out of there. But it felt like one of those ones where the second he hit it, it felt like it was gone. I think the pitcher knew it. I think most people knew it. And just like that, despite non-existent offense for the first 6 innings, the Angels are tied at 4. I think a lot of you were probably half awake if you're even watching this team, because to be honest, I don't know how many of you are watching this team. But if you are, you're probably half awake. You're probably doing something else. Probably cooking food. It's a Friday night, getting ready to go do something a lot more fun than watching the Angels. And Adell wakes you up. He wakes you up with the grand slam. But like I said in the intro, he wakes you up just so that the Angels can break your heart later. We're going to get into why the Angels broke your heart with Matt Moore giving up another home run. Now 5 home runs allowed in just 21 innings for Matt Moore. We'll get to that. We'll get to the foolishness from Pilar to end the game after we take our first quick break. Shout out to Jake, who says, Adell grand slam was really nice. Need better consistent outings from starters. Yes, true, but I think, honestly, in recent losses, the rotation has been okay. Sandoval surprised people with the great start yesterday, and I keep saying that the Luis Gil game was yesterday. Excuse me, the Luis Gil game was 2 games ago. Yesterday was Rodon against Sandoval. I keep getting them mixed up. But in the Sandoval start, going up against Luis Gil, Tyler Anderson, Griffin Canning, I think the starters have actually been relatively solid based on what we're expecting from them. And the Angels lineup just can't hit anything. Jake also says Estevez has not been good this year. I know he didn't pitch tonight, but I'd like to see someone replace him. Yeah, Estevez has been pretty awful. We saw more bullpen struggles from a different guy who really, Matt Moore, is someone that we expected this season to play well. And so it continues to hurt watching him struggle. The ERA now at 5.91. We're going to discuss that home run. We're going to discuss Pilar making the error that took another heroic opportunity away from Jo Adell after we take our first quick break, because, man, we're already 14 minutes in, and we haven't even taken a break because I just want to keep talking about how bad the Angels lineup was. Don't let the 4 runs fool you, okay? This lineup stinks. It stinks. And it stunk tonight other than the 7th inning. We'll talk about what happened in the bottom of the 8th to erase Adell's grand slam, and also a 9th inning of more foolishness after we take our first break here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Thanks so much for watching. Now, today's postcast is brought to you by Ibotta. Spring has sprung, and that means spring cleaning. Whether that means stocking up on cleaning supplies or swapping out your winter clothes for new spring clothes, make sure you're using Ibotta and get real cash back with every purchase. Now, if you don't know, Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items, from groceries to beauty supplies to toys, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. And look, right now, Ibotta, which if you don't know is Ibotta, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. All you got to do is go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back. Once again, all you got to do is use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Ibotta, IBOTTA, in the Google Play or App Store, and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Today's show is also brought to you by Supply House. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades. SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. We are back here live on the Locked On Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I've been saying it the past few days, but battling a little bit of a cold. Sorry if the voice is a little raspy, but I think the bigger story is that the Angels are battling more than a cold. They are battling a cold streak right now as they fall to 21-36, of course, fifth in the AL West. And the only thing that Angel fans could give, be remotely excited about was, hey, or at least we're 500 on the road. We know we're 14 games under 500 at home, but hey, at least we're 500 on the road. Well, not tonight. Now they fall below 500, and that 4-2 record in the AL West is now a 4-3 record in the AL West as the Angels fall 5-4 to the Mariners to open up this division series. We already discussed the first 6 innings of non-existent offense from the Angels, as well as that 7th inning grand slam, that 7th inning magical inning that did include some Angel foolishness, thanks to Taylor Ward getting thrown out by a mile at home. But despite all that, a nice 2-out walk from Logan O'Hoppe sets up an opportunity for Jo Adell to break an 0-for-18 slump with a grand slam. Shout out to everybody in here. Really appreciate all of you. Once again, Anaheim Angel, Daniel Barry, Jake, Nick King. Nick says, Kevin blows the game. He's really starting to fit right in. Oh, man. We're going to get to that right now because, yes, Pilar continues to be polarizing. And we talked about already the lineup and everything. Me wanting to see more of him every single night. We did see it tonight. Would have liked him to be moved into the second spot. Not Mickey Moniak and that 169 average. But Pilar, at least he was in the lineup. And he did deliver to some degree. He did have a hit. He did score a run. But he could have scored another run. Who knows? Because in the top of the 9th, after Matt Moore gives up a home run, Kevin Pilar reaches in the 9th inning. The Mariners bring in their closer. We know how the Angels have been doing against closers lately. And Calhoun starts things off with a strikeout. But then with 1 out, Pilar singles. Because when you let a veteran hit and get opportunities, every once in a while he'll perform, unlike Mickey Moniak. Pilar gets a 1-out single. O'Hoppe gets called on strikes. And then with 2 outs and Pilar on first, Jo Adell comes up. And sure, I know Jo Adell still not a great hitter lately, still only hitting lefties. We get it. But he's got to be feeling a lot better about himself after he enters 0-of-18 and then immediately hits a grand slam. He's feeling a lot better about himself. Maybe just give this guy an opportunity to swing the bat, right? Nope. Kevin Pilar gets in a rundown, eventually gets thrown out at second base pretty easily, and Jo Adell doesn't even get to swing the bat. The foolishness continues, folks. Like I said, this is postcast number 9, and in these 9 games, we've seen Rengifo getting thrown out or getting caught in a pickle between second and third. We've seen Rengifo get thrown out at second, trying to stretch a single into a double for no reason. We've seen Rengifo, I'm going to keep saying Rengifo. We saw Rengifo get thrown out at third, trying to stretch a double into a triple while down 8 runs. We saw Taylor Ward forget how to play left field in Houston multiple times. We saw Taylor Ward run into an out at third base for no reason, ran into a ground ball. I mean, I'm sure I'm forgetting more. We saw Taylor Ward tonight run into an out basically at home. But magically, this might have been the worst, because at least give Jo Adell an opportunity to hit the ball, to swing the bat. No, Pilar runs into the final out of the game with the Angels down just one run, and with arguably it only takes one grand slam for you to be the hottest hitter in the Angels lineup. And so the hottest hitter, Jo Adell, doesn't even get to swing the bat because of the mistake. Absolutely brutal. So like Nick says, Kevin blows the game, and he's really starting to fit right in. Add him to the list of Angels, and Angel veterans, mind you, because in that rant, who did I say? Rengifo and Ward. The guys making most of the mistakes on the bases and in the field. And surely enough, another veteran who I've been fighting for to get in the lineup, he's the one who makes the mistake on the bases to cost you the game. Brutal, brutal, brutal. If I didn't already mention it enough, the reason the Angels fell down 5-4 was because of a Matt Moore bad pitch and home run. Ty France with the game tied at 4. All the energy in the ballpark was sucked out by that Jo Adell grand slam. And you're thinking, wow, maybe this Angels on the road thing, this Angels against the AL West thing is just some weird thing in 2024, and the Angels magically get wins. And despite being non-existent for 6 innings, are suddenly tied 4-4 and might escape this one with a victory. But no, Matt Moore falls behind 2-0, works in a fastball and a changeup, both fouled off to get back to 2-2, then throws a fastball that's fouled off, and then he hangs the changeup. And I mean hangs it. Right there, 84, right down the middle. And surprise, surprise, Ty France hits it 108 off the bat, 417, no doubt about it. Matt Moore, his ERA goes right back up after an outing or two where you thought Matt Moore was maybe coming back. But instead, he gets the loss. He's now 1-2 with a 5.91 ERA, and that home run was the difference. So, despite them fooling you, despite Adell giving you some hope with the grand slam, the Angels fall 5-4 here on Friday night. No Friday night fun for us. Not for Artie's Angels. No Friday night fun for us. Instead, another defeat. 3 straight defeats. 21-36. 5th in the AL West, and now back under 500 on the road, which once again was the only thing the Angels had to be proud about, was 500 on the road. Still 4-3 in the AL West. I'm sure we'll not see that by the end of the series, unfortunately. Shout out once again to everybody who's in here. Once again, apologies for the raspy voice. I'm still getting over the cold, but I'm still here every single night, giving you my all, unlike Anthony Rendon, unlike the Angels hitters, doing my best every single night here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Shout out to everybody in here. Jake asking, should the Angels sell at the deadline? Oh my goodness. Is the sky blue, Jake? Is the sky blue? Yes, please. Whoever you can get value for, get him out, please. Pilar, even though he runs into an out, he's been red hot. We know that. The average is now, 341 despite the 1-for-4 tonight? You might, if you get anything for a guy that you just picked up to be a veteran piece and suddenly he's like your best player in 2024, that's a great job. Get something for him. All the bullpen arguably could be gone, right? Matt Moore has been not good, but you can still get something for him. He's a lefty in the bullpen with experience. Not as much as you could have gotten if he was playing better. Hunter Strickland, you can certainly get something for because he's been great. You might even get something for Luis Garcia. If Estevez strings together some good outings, he's not going to have many save opportunities with this team, but if he strings together a couple good outings, maybe even get something for Estevez. At least he's a guy who throws hard and has experience as a closer. And maybe you finally think about getting rid of Taylor Ward. Rengifo, I think they will trade as well. Yes, sell everybody. That's why Nick says yes, lol, to the idea of selling at the deadline. Nick also says, my toxic trait is thinking the Angels are going to turn the Major League movie into a reality every year. That's pretty funny. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty funny. Thank you for the laugh because we need it right now on a Friday night. Very valid, Nick. And Justin says, Angels' third baseman got 7 years, $245 million to hate on the Hollywood lifestyle. Of course, he's talking about Anthony Rendon. Yes, I'm here in the Hollywood lifestyle in LA, and I'm certainly not hating on it. But Anthony Rendon, he is. How dare we want him to care about baseball, being paid gajillions to do so. But Anyways, despite all that, once again, Angels fall 5-4 thanks to a Jo Adell grand slam that gave us hope, but an otherwise poor 8th and 9th inning, a home run given up by Matt Moore, and some foolishness from Kevin Pillar, taking an opportunity away from Jo Adell. We're going to take one more quick break. As always, this show going well over time because I like to yap about our Angels even when we continue to lose. We'll take one more break before we talk about Soriano's shaky outing and also grade Ron Washington's performance. I'm going to get into him a little bit more about that opening lineup after the Shanuel injury. We'll talk about all that after this last break here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. Now look, it's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. It's no secret that I love fantasy sports and betting on sports. I talk about, that basically every show, and FanDuel is easily the best place if you want to gamble or bet on sports because they have the best lines, the best interface, and the best promos, including right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. One more time if you didn't hear me correctly. That's $150 free to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more, all with any winning $5 bet. So hey, bet $5 on the Angels doing something foolish, or just bet on them losing the game, and bang, $150 in bonus bets. All you got to do is visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. One more time, we are here live on the Locked On Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I might start calling it the Paincast because another painful one. Jo Adell tricked us into thinking that there was something worth watching with this team, but more pain as the Angels give up a run in the 8th and fall short in the 9th to lose the series opener to the Seattle Mariners. Now, I already talked about it a little bit, but Ron Washington made me very upset tonight with the pregame lineup, deciding to move Mickey Moniak to the 2-hole after Shanuel is ruled out. And that's why Ron Washington is getting a D for the pregame lineup on tonight's edition of Ron's Report Card. I'm giving him a D because it just makes no sense to me why Moniak has suddenly shot up to second. I get it. I like lefties hitting against righties. Yes, I do. I understand. I played baseball. I haven't played in a while. I'm 22. I think I stopped playing when I was 14 or something. But I played baseball. And I understand that if you're a lefty, it's a lot easier to hit against righties for the most part. If you're a righty, it's a lot easier to hit against lefties. But that doesn't mean Mickey Moniak should be hitting second in any lineup. I don't think Mickey Moniak should be hitting second in a AAA lineup, right now at least. And once again, shout out to him for robbing a home run in the 4th. I don't think I talked about it enough. Shout out to him for that. But once again, you can rob a home run while being in the 9-hole and not the 2-hole. It just makes no sense why, worst case scenario, you just shift everybody up one when Shanuel gets ruled out and you throw in Matt Tice somewhere in the bottom of the order. But just jumping Moniak from 8th to 2nd, it makes no sense. And after this, I'm going to run to the postgame and see what Ron had to say about that. So he gets a D for that. And in terms of in-game adjustments, I thought he kind of handled Soriano okay, actually. Soriano, we'll talk about the outing from him because he certainly did not have his best stuff tonight. Let's be honest, he did not. And once again, the goal for him is just to throw strikes. He has electric stuff. But he was kind of all over the place tonight, not really able to locate much. In the first inning, he runs into all sorts of issues. After the Angels, of course, go 1-2-3, which they haven't been doing when Shanuel's been in the lineup. But you immediately see the absence there because the Angels go 1-2-3, and then Soriano immediately runs into issues. Gives up a leadoff double to J.P. Crawford, gives up a single to Josh Rojas, walks Julio Rodriguez to load the bases. Then he gets a sac fly from Cal Rayleigh, and J.P. Crawford scores, gets a line out to Mickey Moniak for out number 2. But then, as we talked about, that double from Ty France that falls out of the glove of Kevin Pillar. And yes, of course, maybe a better outfielder who's not old, who, I don't know, maybe a better outfielder makes that play. I think it's a 50-50 play, maybe a 60-40 play in favor of the fielder. But you saw the glove hit the wall right before the ball hit the glove. It affected things. Pilar not able to come down with it. And instead of an out that limits the damage to 1 run, it's a 2-out double, and Soriano gives up 3 in the first. And it's ironic. Earlier in this, the past few games, the Angel starters were getting away with issues in the first couple innings. Loading the bases and somehow only giving up 1 run. We talked about it yesterday, or talked about it with the Angels getting out of it against the Yankees, loading the bases and then getting that weird interference call on Juan Soto. They've dodged some bullets, but when you're a bad team, you're not going to dodge every bullet. You're not going to get every break from the baseball gods. We certainly know that, and they did not tonight. The ball falling out of Pilar's glove and the Mariners picking up 3 in the first. Otherwise, Soriano settled in a little bit, did not give up any runs in innings 2, 3, and 4. I thought he was resilient. And that's all you can really ask for from him. Once again, he's still learning how to be a starting pitcher, still learning how to have secondary pitches that he can get through. It's always about the second time through the order. And ironically, this time it wasn't. The first innings what killed him. But most of the times, especially for young guys, it's about the second time through the order, or the third time through the order, when the lineup is more used to your stuff and how you can get through it. But he did get through it after that first inning, and I'm not going to kill him for his performance. So in terms of in-game adjustments, I'm not going to kill Wash for bringing in Matt Moore. I'm not going to kill him for, certainly not, I'm going to praise him for bringing Adell in for Matt Tice there, even though it's kind of the obvious thing to do. But in-game adjustments, you get a B, I guess. So what does that average to? A C for Ron Washington? Probably about right for a 5-4 defeat for Wash. What now looking forward? What can we say looking forward? Obviously 2 more against the Mariners. Please just split. I'm not expecting you to win both, but please just, if you can, at least split. Give us some hope. Maybe keep that AL West record at positive. That'd be nice, at above 500. Something to hold your hat on. And now the question is, what happens with the lineup? Does Pilar stay in it? If it's a righty, is he only in against lefties? Is Adell, even though he's technically the hero of tonight's game, this still kind of proves the point that Adell needs to only hit against lefties. So, a lot of questions for Ron Washington. We'll see how he handles it going forward. But with all that being said, shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to everybody for the comments one more time. Anaheim Angel, appreciate you. You're watching this after the fact, but thank you for the comment. Daniel, Jake, Nick, Jake again, Nick some more times, Justin, everybody. I appreciate everybody in here for tonight's edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast. Kind of a depressing one, I'll be honest, depressing like Anthony Rendon and that Hollywood lifestyle, apparently. But, it's hard to be energetic every single night about this team. And I think everybody was half asleep through the first 6 innings before Adell woke us up a little bit. But hopefully, the Angels lineup out of nowhere, despite having a AAA lineup, shows up a little bit earlier. Maybe we get another first or second inning home run. Maybe Logan O'Hoppe keeps staying hot, getting a home run in the first couple of innings tomorrow. Gets us a little more energetic throughout the entire game before the Angels probably inevitably break our hearts in the end once again. But with all that being said, fought through the illness once again. I promise I'm working on it. The voice will get back to normal soon. The energy level will get back to normal soon. And hopefully the Angels can get back to winning soon. But once again, I'm Gavin Carlson. Appreciate everybody in here. Nick with the final comment saying, we get to look forward to Mike Trout return in the near future. I don't know about near future. One more thing I will say. It's so ironic that Trout tears the meniscus, and yet we're hearing things about him potentially coming back, of course, after the All-Star break, but we're hearing about him working to get back. You hear nothing about Rendon. Nothing. Wash said it, I think, 2 days ago that, he's on the bike now. Trout has a much more serious injury, and he's on every single show, every time, every day, talking about, I'm working to get back. Rendon tells you nothing, and you hear nothing about him. I don't know what the deal is with that guy. I certainly am not looking forward to seeing him anytime soon, but yes, Nick, maybe we get to see Mike Trout in a month or 2. But with all that being said, another edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast with me, Gavin Carlson. Thanks so much for watching, either live on the Locked On Los Angeles YouTube channel or after the fact, both on the channel or wherever you get your Locked On Angels podcast feed. Angels fall 5-4. Late inning struggles once again. The Locked On Angels pain cast once again. But hopefully, happiness tomorrow, maybe the Angels can pick up a win. But for now, Halo Nation, signing off, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.